Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now, today we're on the last beer from the Hook Norton brewery. Well, the last beer that I've got just now anyway. I'm not going to say that we won't revisit some of the other beers, you know, later on in the future. But I need to save up my pennies because they charge £14 for delivery, the thieving buggers. Right, so, oh dear. So, today we're doing a beer that's described as aroma, or they use the word smell. I always think smell, you know, it just doesn't, it sounds a bit uncouth for a start, and especially for something I'm going to put my lips to and actually swallow, you know what I mean? What does it smell of? You know? Smell that. You know, it's like, no. Aroma. It's got a wonderful aroma. Oh, you should smell this. No, it doesn't really work, does it? But the smell is supposed to be citrus fruits, and the taste is orange and citrus. Now you can maybe understand why I left this beer to the last. I'll leave this right to the very end. When I was looking through them, I thought I'll categorise them. I'll build up, get to the kind of famous one, and then we'll kind of drag off from it to the kind of one that might not be as attuned to my flavour profile. So today we're doing Off the Hook IPA. Now thinking, could it have been more of a traditional IPA? Could it have been an IPA of more of the high strength English pale ale? But no, if it smells of citrus fruits and tastes of orange and citrus, I think it's more down the old craft beer kind of route. If you wonder what that was, it's like, you know, because all these craft beers like, it's got citrus, you know, that kind of thing, you know, like a Labrador dry humping your leg, oh, it's got citrus, you know, and they'll be pissing their frillies, creaming their panties, whatever you want to call it. So it's 4.3%, it's 500ml, it'd be roughly about £3 because every other fucking bottle from Hook Norton seems to be £3, whether justified or not. So it says, all pale malts and a symphony of English and American hops offer a strong combination of citrus and orange notes, delivering a full-on refreshing beer. Cheers from J.W. Clark, great-great-grandson of John Harris, founder of the Hook Norton Brewery, and the phrase, taking it up the Harris. You know, I'm joking. He didn't. He might have, but he didn't. I enjoy that joke. He's probably don't, but I actually think it's quite funny. Apparently pregnancy warning, alcohol can cause lifelong harm to your baby. There you go. Get the facts, drinkwise.org.au. There you go. So this has been sold in what do you call it? In Australia. Oh yeah, it is imported to Australia, so there you go. So you can get, I wonder what they charge for delivery to Australia. Anyway, you can see I'm kind of stalling here, you know. It's quite understandable, isn't it? It smells of citrus, tastes of citrus. Don't mind the orange bit, but the citrus bit, because you think, when they say citrus, do they actually just mean grapefruit? Just going to be soury bitterness. Maybe piney. That's the worst bit. That's what's kind of stopping me from cracking this open right now. You know, and I was worried, just in case. Now this is going to be a Sunday video, but there's nothing wrong in having a backup. Right, let's crack it open. Bloody hell. Oh, there's a lot of things happening in the world. You ever notice since Trump came to power, kind of a lot of things are happening. A lot of waffles coming out from the US, but a lot of waffles being kind of battered back as well from Europe and the UK as well. A lot of saber wrestling, you know. You know. The old Trump with the bad hair trying to be the big hard man, the big I am. And European leaders said, oh, aye, we're hard too. Oh, I like you, by the way. We like you. We're pals, aren't we? Yeah, oh, big chums. But we can be tough people too, you know, and we've got our own kind of ways of doing things. You can't accuse us for being wrong and all this kind of nonsense. It's just like, seriously. Just like, you know, the school's got a new bully and everybody's licking his arse. You know, that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? Although in saying that though, I think the school needed a new bully because there was far too many telltales, you know, in America. If you look at that schoolyard, you know. But anyway, it just seems a bit weird that every time you go in the news, it's just like, how much can they be negative about Trump? How wonderful can they be about Europe and the UK and everything else? And sitting there thinking, well, Trump isn't the saviour, isn't wonderful. I'll give you that. He definitely isn't, and he's no my cup of tea. But he's not as bad as what people try and make out. There is something that he does are good. Whether they actually come from him or where they come from advisors and everything else, I don't know. But at least he's got the balls to try and basically implement them regardless of where they come from. I'm not saying everything he does or says is wonderful. Certainly fucking not. But then you look at her lot, you're thinking, seriously, what a share of shit ours are. You know what I mean? Really what they need to do is they need to try and come up with a far better system that doesn't involve politicians and doesn't involve people voting, you know, because democracy doesn't work. I mean, one of the major things about democracy is they always go on about how wonderful it is. Well, the wonderful thing about it is you don't always get what you want. That's the first problem with democracy. So you can vote, but it doesn't mean you're going to get what you vote for. And why is it not just straight? Why is it not just a case as though we have a straight system as we all vote, and whoever we vote for becomes a Prime Minister? Because this is the problem I just don't understand in the UK. Is why I vote for an MP, but then that vote also counts. So this is the thing, is like, I could have a local MP, regardless of political party. It might actually be a good local person that actually cares about the local area and is actually the perfect person to be the MP for that area, because their heart's in the right place, they actually care, they're sensible enough and everything else. But the problem is, he might be a member of a party where the leader's an absolute bampot, you know, and then I vote for him because he's going to be good for my area. But automatically by voting for him and him coming into basically being the MP, that goes towards bampot becoming the Prime Minister. And there's your first problem, is you've got then conflict of interest, because I don't want Bampop to be the Prime Minister, but I want him to be my MP. So how the hell does that work? See, the system in the UK is shite. And there's the problem. And because the system is shite, we've now got a situation where all the political parties are shite, the politicians are shite, and the Prime Ministers are shite. And with adding that all together, it's turning the country into shite. Yeah, how wonderful is that? I wonder why we drink. Right, let's get this poured. I've put it off for far too long. Oh, hear that? It's quite fizzy. Jesus, sounds like I've popped in a wee Alka-Seltzer there, eh? There we go. Right, so it's very pale. It might look a wee bit more on the camera. It actually looks a wee bit kind of darker on camera as I'm looking at it, but it's actually very, very light looking at it in the light. It's, I would say it's getting more towards a kind of a slightly blondish look about it. As you can see, it's a wonderful head. I've been taking lessons after Scots. Let's see what it smells like. See, it's in the Hook Norton glass. Oh God. Yep. Getting that smell of kind of grapefruit. I'm getting slight kind of sugar syrupy malt accents, but the main thing is just kind of slight sugar syrup, grapefruit kind of accents. That's all you're getting. Not really picking up grain, not really picking up any real identifiable malt, just a kind of slightly syrupy grapefruit aromas. Right. So see what it tastes like. You might try it first? No? No. You sure? You can have first steps? No? Okay. Oh, fuck. Right. Oh, right. Is there any need? Alright, you've got pines at the back end. Oh, God. I'm not saying a huge amount, but enough to fucking annoy me. That's the first thing. And yes, the citrus is most based around grapefruit, so you've got this wonderful sourness of grapefruit, backed up by the sourness of the pine. Lovely. There you go. Shit breakfast meets toilet cleaner. There you go. God, why? Why do they fucking basically have to pander to these arseholes? Seriously. Why do they think that's a fucking nice flavour profile for fucking beer? Seriously. Oh, it's just so wrong, you know what I mean? Oh, God. It's lingering too, that pininess every time I'm breathing in and just getting little wafts of it down the side of my tongue. So it's a lingerer as well. It was the cranberries. You have to let it linger. No, they posed the question, yeah, long before I did. Oh God. Oh dear, oh dear. It's not enjoyable. Oh God, it's not. No, it really isn't enjoyable. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But yeah, sometimes things aren't as bad as they seem, so they don't. You know what I mean? Not as bad as they seem, you know what I mean? Ooh, lovely. It's a hard life. But as one Monty Python once said, you know, the one with the mullet, always look on the bright side of life. And sometimes if you do that, you get your rewards. Yeah, unfortunately they didn't go for a traditional IPA or a traditional pale ale or that type of stuff. They went for a more kind of craft-based, kind of Americanized IPA, which I suppose if you're looking for piney flavours and grapefruit flavours and maybe a little bit of orange there, you know, the pithy stuff, not the lovely sweet segments that we basically, you know, like to enjoy and savour, you know. It's not the wonderful part of the orange. It's the crappy stuff that Jamie Oliver fucking keeps shaving all over his fucking private parts. Oh, a little bit, oh, he's shaving a fucking orange peel there, oh, you know, that kind of stuff. But he drinks IPs, but he, oh, Jamie Oliver, he'll be creaming his wee panties. Saying that though, I used to know a guy, I suppose I still do know a guy, but I remember I worked alongside a guy that his little brother went to the same school as Jamie Oliver, And he's like trying to, when he came across as the kind of naked chef, you know, that kind of barra boy, kind of working class kind of vibe, you know, all right mate, how you doing, all right, aye, geezer, you know, that type of stuff. And he was saying, you know, we fucking talked like that to the private school he went to, you know what I mean? Well, I think it wasn't a true kind of private school, but I think it was a well-to-do grammar school, put it that way. So you could still maybe say it was a state school, but it was quite difficult to get into because you had to live in a nice catchment area, which was fucking expensive, put it that way. And I think his dad owned a gastropub. This is what I was told. And he definitely wasn't working class and certainly wasn't a geezer and certainly didn't kind of speak like that. You know, probably the lisp was real, but the accent, the way he kind of spoke, especially at the start with the naked chef, that wasn't really how he spoke, and that used to annoy people that were from that area. And it was quite funny because this guy from this area certainly didn't speak that way. He did speak more kind of more well-to-do, put it that way, and I presumed that his little brother would be speaking very similar. So there you go. But yeah, you could just imagine that Jamie Oliver getting guzzled on the old craft beer and think, oh, it's wonderful, oh, fucking coriander, oh, cumin, you know, all that kind of stuff, oh. Bollocks. Right, we'll break down these flavours in a minute before I start crying. Oh, fucking hell. I mean, if you're into this type of flavours and these type of beers, then you're actually quite right at this one, you know. But here's the thing is, I'm not enjoying this, but I can enjoy Lagunitas. I can enjoy Sierra Nevada, IPAs and things like that. So there is ones I can enjoy from craft beer breweries in the US. That seem to be they are slightly more towards that kind of citrus kind of bent up, but there's a kind of balance there. And then you get these kind of ones here, and of course you got all the tiny rebels and the brew dogs and the, what do you call it, the Northern Funk Monsters or something. Oh, it's Northern Monk, isn't it, or something like that? Northern fucking Archbishop of Canterbury or something. You know, and they're just like taking things over the top. You think, seriously? And I feel that this is slightly kind of a bit over the top. There's a lack of balance to the beer, is probably the best way of putting it. There's a little bit of sweetness there, which is, trust me, one of the few things I'm hanging on to like fuck. I'll be totally honest with you. Every time I take a sip, I'm just hanging on to that fucking sweetness. Unfortunately, it's usually battered away the minute the fucking pine appears. Like, you can fuck off. You know, it's like, pine! You know what I mean? That medicated bloody tracing paper used to get its toilet paper and bloody school and that. And it's like fucking licking that piss. And I'm not saying I've licked it before, because I haven't, you know what I mean? I'm sure that was sweet, come on. Anyway, nibble it. But, God, I have to take another sip to try and break down these flavours. Fuck. I'm looking at the glass of whiskey now thinking, come on, me and you, come on, chops, pals. You know? Okay, let's do it. Right. Fucking hell. Right, it starts off with quite light malt. I mean, well, it feels like light malt because the citrazine comes right in at the front of the mouth. So you get this okay level of sweetness. I'm not saying it's overly sweet, but there's a decent level of sweetness there. Trust me, it's lost very quickly. And you're getting a kind of slightly syrupy feel, light caramel to the malt, a little bit of grain. But yeah, the kind of slightly pithy citrus tones are starting to come in quite early in the front of the mouth. Moves onto the mid-tongue. Oh, and it's just like, oh, it's a wank fest of citrus, so it is, you know, and pith. Sweetness tastes kind of the same. You kind of lose the malt. You know the malt's there because there's a bit of body there, a bit of body, but you're not tasting any malt anymore. It's just, it's just a citrus fest, and not a particularly nice citrus fest because it's not kind of breaking down. It's just it's sour grapefruit and just sour grapefruit and kind of citrus peel pithiness. So there's a mixture between bitterness and sourness in the mid tongue, just kind of two of them just kind of slugging it out with each other. And then just as it starts to get near to the back of the mid tongue, that's when the pine kind of shows up and says, oh boys, I'm in charge, unfortunately. So the other two stop fighting so much and start kind of listening to the sermon coming from the pine because, the pininess has really got a lot to say. It's preaching away there. And it's saying pininess, a lot of it. And the world is better for it, apparently. So yes, you're just getting this kind of pininess that really kind of starts to ramp up as it moves from the mid-tongue into the kind of back of the mouth and the aftertaste. But of course, you're still getting little accents of grapefruit and pithiness alongside it, which is just a lovely combination. It really is, you know. I mean, it's like the drink for the devil, really. I mean, it really is. It's just absolutely. Oh, Satan would love this, so he really would, if he existed, of course, because I don't believe he existed. Although, in saying that, though, if a beer like this didn't exist, then I could probably think the fucking devil can easily exist as well. But yes, in the back of the mouth, it's just, fucking hell, it's an absolute jizz fest of horrible flavours. It really is. And as the flavours start to kind of dissipate, the pine's like, I'm not fucking leaving. I've bought my ticket. I'm staying. And it does. And even after you've swallowed it, you think that's it over. It hangs about, it lingers. And you just get a little kind of resurgence of it if you breathe in through your mouth. So what I'd recommend if you are drinking this type of beer is, say when you swallowed it, keep your mouth shut and breathe in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Let's try this. It works. I bet. Right, what would I give this out of 10? You're probably sitting there thinking, at least into the high 8s, maybe the 9s. I know you're sitting there thinking, this guy's loving this. Loving the dream. So he is. Jesus God. Bloody hell. If you're into this type of beer, then, you know, if you're really into this kind of style of beer and these flavour profiles, then you're going to love this. So, on that basis, yeah, wire in, go and get it, it's there for you. And pay the £14, and I'm sure you'd love to pay the £14 delivery for this, you know what I mean? I'm so glad I got so many other beers with it rather than this. I'd been well pissed off if the beers were kind of more like this. Oh, seriously. I think I'd be drinking the drive back over to Oxfordshire and actually giving the beers back to them through their fucking windows individually. Yeah, not enjoyable. For me, not enjoyable, not my cup of tea, and I don't really understand why beers have to be so skewed so much to the one side. Like I say, I don't mind citrus beer, especially if they can control the pine and they understand balance. This doesn't. It's just as citrusy and sour and piney as it can possibly, you know, get away with. You know, it's just No, it's just wrong and horrible. So on that basis, as an IPA, because really it's more of a kind of an Americanized IPA, certainly not a British IPA. It's not a traditional British recipe using traditional British ingredients. So it's like they said it was basically utilising a strong combination of citrus and orange notes. So a symphony of English and American hops offer strong. Well, I think that symphony is definitely more towards the American side of it than the British. And on that basis, I don't mind it. I quite like a traditional English IPA. I don't even mind some American style IPAs, like Sierra Nevada, Lagunitas, that type of stuff. They're fine because there's a balance to them. That's when I just don't feel there's a balance there. And because of that, I'm going to mark it down, because if you're paying £3 for a beer that's bringing you no pleasure or enjoyment whatsoever, then you have a right to say, no, this isn't for me. And I'm going to say this, it isn't for me, and I'm going to mark it down on that basis, because it's coming from me. Like I said, if you like these type of flavours, you'll probably like this beer, and I would recommend it on that basis. But if you're into more kind of traditional style beers, then this beer is certainly not for you, and it's certainly not for me. And on that basis, there's a lack of balance, and even then the malt is just a kind of a sugary kind of syrupy feel to it. It doesn't really feel there's any kind of real caramel or it's just like, you know what I mean, it's very light pale malts, and it's only there to provide body. It's not to provide really any kind of balance or any kind of malty edge at all. The malt is a silent partner. It's just really there for body and maybe to help with the sweetness, but just by that sweetness as well, I feel there's quite a bit of inverted sugars in this as well, so that's wonderful, marvellous, isn't it? So that I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. I really would never buy this again, and I certainly would never ever turn around and say, if we're in a pub, to somebody saying, well, you should try that, you'd like that. Unless I thought that person was an arsehole. And even then, I still probably wouldn't do that. I would maybe say it to somebody who likes craft beer and loves citrus and pine and everything else, but you should try that. That'll make you clean your panties, if you haven't done so already, because I think that's what craft people do. You know, craft drinkers think like, oh, I've just went. You know, that type of thing. Right, anyway, it's a bit of a disaster, this beer. Definitely I'm glad I left it to the end. I'm glad. I wouldn't have wanted to start with this beer when I was doing the Hook Norton beers, and I wouldn't have wanted this in between, because it would have just given a false start. I'm glad we finished on it, because at the end of the day this beer is the exception. There's no real bearing on what has actually kind of gone before it, and what's gone before it's a hell of a lot better and a hell of a lot nicer than this. So I'm glad this is at the end. So yeah, it's 4.3%, it's 500ml. I think it's roughly about £3 a bottle. Details down below. 3 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.